MCU fans, Armand here for E equals MCU. Last night, we got two solid episodes. Two solid. I only, because it was two episodes, I only got to watch them once each. But I got a couple of things that just pop out. I want to just get out real quick. Just a couple of things um, from a couple of scenes. Number one, the scene at the, what did they call it? Not the dock. The scene where they had all the prisoners and Daredevil was going through and trying to free all of the people who were vigilantes. Um, that was probably one of the best scenes that they've done in all of Daredevil, as far as the choreography, the fighting. Listening to the podcast afterwards and listening to the stunt choreographer who was the guy that they wanted for last season, Born Again, that they brought back. I'm not exactly sure when they brought him back, but I know he wanted to come back when they first rebooted it, and they didn't let him. It's kind of like what happened with Deadpool, as far as with Kevin Feige, and then him changing directions and letting the old people come back and do the movies or the slash TV show. Same thing happened with Daredevil. He wanted to come back. He was criticizing them at first, and now it looks like he's back because he was getting interviewed by Charlie Cox, and they were talking about the stunt sequence on that particular scene. And I implore you to go listen to it if you're into that kind of thing. The Daredevil podcast, the after show podcast, is okay. They need a host like Paradise, and I granted Paradise has a host because um, his wife, Xavier's wife, does it. The main actor, that's his real life wife, and she's doing the podcast. So maybe that came with her, because she was also in the show on the episode. So maybe that came as a result of that. But Daredevil podcast needs a dedicated person to host the podcast, and maybe just to do all of the MCU podcasts. If this is something they're going to do going forward, it'd be nice to have like a main person interview everybody. So that's one thing. That scene was great with the swordsman. Um, I like. I think his name is Tony Valori. I think I like his character as the swordsman. He was great in Hawkeye. He's doing a great job in Daredevil, and his character really ties together a lot of different things. It also makes sense why Fisk would be going after him, considering everything that happened and the fact that they were able to convict him. This was probably giving some people PTSD as far as what's going on in the real life, in the real world country today. It's very extreme, mind you, but it's right on par. So, um, but my thoughts, just quick thoughts on the two episodes, were just that they were solid. And I don't want to. I could be accused of recency bias. Like, I'll see something new for the first few times or whatnot, and it'll just, if it blows me away, it'll, I'll make a statement, and I don't want to. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But because I just went back and rewatched the Daredevil and the Netflix shows not too long ago with the Daredevil ones, um, I dare to say that this season may be the best season of Daredevil on any platform. And I know people beloved the first season of Daredevil, and right after that, season 3 of Daredevil. I think this has a chance to be better. And maybe it's just my preference on the quality of production, because I think the quality of production on the older Devils were good as well, but I just saw, going back and years later being able to see it, it's kind of unfair. So I see the flaws in some of the characters, like I said before. I think the characters are kind of one note or one beat, and they kind of get stuck on whatever that note is, and it's like because it was 13 episodes, they had to repeat it. I kind of felt like from season to season they would grow, but within that season they were stuck on that note for the side characters. They weren't multi-complex. The lead characters were for the most part, but the side characters is which everybody would say those side characters are were the heartbeat of all of those shows and what made those shows, but they were very one note. And it was like that whole season, it's like, hey, my whole ploy this season is to tell you not to put on the suit, or not to, you know what I mean? Like, to keep telling you you shouldn't be Daredevil, or to keep telling you, Kilgrave's dead, or whatever it is. They all had like that one note. And I noticed that when you watched all of the shows, I kind of noticed that pattern with how they were being written. With Born Again season 2, you I would almost dare to say this may be the first Marvel show where I can't even really predict what's going to happen. And it's kind of got me at the edge of my seat because, and I'll give you an example. There's like little subtleties, right? So like Agent Kim, like I did the video on her and everything. They're not going to go into her character, and they probably won't even connect the two. They probably just the same actor, different character, whatever. But when she popped up, and this is spoilers. I apologize for anybody who has not seen the show. I will put a spoiler warning on here. When she popped up at Josie's bar the way she did, something about that was very ominous and not right. And the fact that the AVTF showed up, hours later or whatever the case may be, a part of me is wondering if she's compromised. She's supposed to be part of the army or whatever, and she was there with Cherry in the hospital, which was a very funny scene, by the way. I'm happy that man, there's so many different elements of this that are getting good. I don't think that there's another Marvel show that's actually ever done that. Like, yeah, like I said, man, they're cooking in hot fish grease. Like, man, you're gonna get popped because like they up in there, they throwing that piece up in the air and flipping it straight up on the frying pan. So, um, yeah, and that's kind of my thought with that. I think she was compromised or something's going on, like, and she was with the other officer I thought that was the officer that walked in, but I could be wrong. And they kind of just showed it. I need to go back and see it to see who she was with, but it looked like they may have got them. They're obviously about to go to war with each other. Yeah, man, like, and I know they're about to bring in Jessica Jones and like Luke Cage. They keep bringing up Punisher and dropping like little Spider-Man references, so it's like it's feeling very organic. Man, I wish I could give more of a detail. I need to watch, since it was 2 episodes, I need to watch both of them multiple times to really catch some stuff. But the scene with Sheila in Kingpin is, again, very tense. And to be honest with you, if I hadn't seen Sheila in the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer, I would almost predict or think that she was going to die this season, because he obviously feels like there's a leak, and he doesn't really know who it is, even though I think Buck knows that it's coming from Daniel. And I think Daniel knows, and the one part I can't really understand is why he knows BB is doing it, and he's trying to tell her to stop. He's really trying to tell her. I'm kind of wondering if she's gonna get got this season and get killed, because him and Buck get somebody, and we see him in the trunk in the trailer. And the fact that he really likes her, so I guess that's why he's just like trying to forewarn her and telling her to stop, as opposed to just, turning her over or whatnot. But and also I saw the similarities too with what they're doing with Daniel, and then having Vanessa. I wonder how that's going to shake out for Daniel and Vanessa, because it's almost getting to the point where it's like Daniel's his son, and if you remember in the multiverse, the Spider-Verse movie, and not to be funny, but Daniel kind of looks like a grown-up version of what his son looked like in that movie. So I think that Marvel Studios intentionally maybe casted him in this role to kind of do something similar to that. So anyway, I mean that's just my thoughts off the top, man. Like I'm gonna have to make another video on this for sure because uh, there was a lot to unpack in the in episode 2 and 3, and then it's just like we're setting it up to go. Man, so all right, y'all. That's all I got for today. Until tomorrow, peace.